Thank you all for coming here today. We're going to be going over the Overcoming Business-to-Business E-commerce Challenges. My name is Patrick Fuzzarini. I'm a solution consultant for k-ecommerce. I've been doing this for about 6 years now, and it's always been my role to understand the needs of our customers and make sure that our platform might be a good fit for what they're trying to achieve. So with that, we have lots of experience. And we've reached an interesting point in B2B e-commerce in general, right? Historically, it was about being in the game, but it's not just about that anymore. While 70% of B2B buyers recognize the convenience of online purchasing and prefer it, only 36% feel that they have had a good experience online. And so this highlights a critical gap between usage and satisfaction. Where a B2B e-commerce presence was once a differentiator, well, buyers naturally have evolved, and today they gravitate towards companies that not only offer B2B e-commerce, but are excellent at delivering a good experience. So how do we get our B2B customers to love using our platform? Well, the answer lies in the nuances of B2B transactions, right? When expectations from a customer's point of view are not met, the results can be frustration, that often leads to buyers resorting to traditional means that they did before. Communication through phone calls, through emails, to resolve the issues that they hoped they were avoiding by using an e-commerce platform. This both defeats the purpose of having an online store, and it also wastes time for the customer's point of view, which is never a good sign. So in essence, the room for improvement in B2B e-commerce is vast, but so is the opportunity within it. Now, I'm lucky to be part of an organization whose focus has been B2B e-commerce for the past 20 years. And over those 2 decades, k-ecommerce has grown to be over 70 team members strong. We're currently helping businesses achieve their goals online. And this spans over 1,200 websites because many of these customers have multiple websites set up with us. Our commitment to B2B e-commerce has enabled us to build long-lasting relationships with our clients, many of whom have been with us for over 8 years. And we continuously look to adapt to the digital changes that are happening, and we're always looking to improve. Our websites are responsible for transacting over $2 billion annually. So k-ecommerce is first and foremost an integrated e-commerce platform. It's suited best for organizations running Acumatica as their ERP. Given its B2B focus, our platform has been developed in a way for almost any business to use and be successful. However, we often see particularly great success with manufacturers, distributors, and wholesalers. I do see your questions coming in. Feel free to write them in the chat. I'm going to get to them towards the end of the presentation. Now, being in the space for as long as we have been, we've seen some common threads, right? When looking for the right e-commerce vendor, one of the challenges that you might face is finding a platform with a full Acumatica integration. As a result, you'll have a system that requires much more effort than it needs to, elongating your business operations and obviously your costs. Now, you might look for a solution to this in a few different ways. One might be to get a platform, get some plugins, get some add-ons to connect everything together. And this introduces multiple vendors into your single e-commerce solution rather than letting one partner handle it all. Another trajectory or possible solution might be to consider a move to a platform that's more open source. And while open source solutions may have a seemingly low entry cost, they often come with lots of additional costs down the line for maintenance, support, and other customizations that you might want to add. Now, B2B buyers use between 3 and 10 channels to purchase their goods and services, between research and negotiations and all the rest. Now, buyers want an omni-channel experience and their digitally driven purchasing experience. They really want to be able to pick up from one spot and maybe continue on in another area of their life or at another point in time with the same or consistent results. So your e-commerce platform needs to take part in that consistent approach. And logically, putting Acumatica at the center of all this guarantees that single source of truth for all of your data. So with an integration in place, you can create an omni-channel experience since clients will have access to the specific information related to them, related to the pricing that they should be getting or the availability for certain items and so on. Now, it can be quite shocking to realize that only 22% of companies that are using dynamic pricing online. In other words, 78% of businesses or companies are not offering their complex pricing that they offer to their B2B customers online. So for example, they're not offering customer specific pricing for their customers that should be getting it. They're not offering things like volume discounts and so on. So in this day and age, going back to that omni-channel approach, customers should be able to see the same price whether they're at your online store or whether they're physically at a brick and mortar location. Now, when looking to implement an e-commerce platform, having an e-commerce strategy is going to be extremely important. Defining a structured approach to building a roadmap is what we've tried to do here today. So from this point out, we're going to be covering what we believe is a solid 5-step guide to streamline your buying process or your e-commerce process. So these steps are designed to guide you through the journey, ensuring that you're equipped with the necessary tools to construct a vision for where you want to go, and ultimately to be more confident in your decision making when choosing an e-commerce platform. So what is a B2B e-commerce roadmap? Well, 5 simple steps that are not merely a checklist of to-dos, but a guide to help you get thinking about what works for your business and how to match the great level of service that you're currently providing today in a face-to-face setting to match that online. Now, step 1 is to begin with a vision. Establish your goals. What does success look like for your e-commerce platform and for your organization? Is it increased sales? Is it about reducing operational costs and being more efficient? Maybe it's about expanding out to new markets to increase your overall revenue or potentially your reputation through higher customer satisfaction and importance. Define specific quantifiable targets that will drive your strategy forward. And just as importantly, make that vision crystal clear to all of those involved. You'll be surprised with how your team can find creative ways to hit the target when they know what the end goal is. And so this bleeds into step number 2. Get aligned with your team. If you knew everything about your organization, then you wouldn't need anybody else. Right? The executives know the vision. Marketing knows how to penetrate the market. IT knows everything about data and infrastructure and security. Sales knows what to sell and who buys. And finance, well, we all know what finance knows. Aligning these diverse needs and requirements is crucial for a cohesive strategy. If there's one thing that I've learned over my 6 years talking to businesses every day, it's that this needs to be a collaborative experience. I can't even tell you how many times that I'm on a sales call and the conversation goes in a direction where different individuals from different departments are having a conversation that is news to the others in the room, that they don't even know within themselves what their own reality is. Step number 3, anticipate the challenges that you might face all the way through the process. Having foresight into what the next 5 years looks like is as important as looking into what the go live plan might be. By anticipating challenges and planning for them, you can avoid common mistakes that end up derailing e-commerce projects for years to come. Now, you may be thinking, how can I plan for situations that I can't predict? Well, the easiest answer is to leverage experts who have seen these common pitfalls in the past. And this, for me, is one of the most underrated aspects until you've experienced it, unfortunately, for yourself. Right? Seek out an e-commerce partner, a partner that will ask the right questions, that'll challenge your thinking and your current process, and a partner that might bring up situations that they have seen come up in their past. Questions like, are my teams and stakeholders aligned and ready for change? Are they ready to adapt if things change along the way? What will it be like to integrate my solution to my ERP? What are some of the security risks involved in this? What issues do companies like mine come across when implementing a B2B e-commerce platform? And also important, am I offering the flexibility and the feature set and the performance that my customers want? Step number 4, and this is probably the biggest one, maybe the most important. Pick the right solution. There are so many e-commerce platforms out there. Some claim to do B2B, others claim to be the best in class. Choosing the right solution is a decision that will have long-term implications for your business. The platform itself, though, is probably the most important part, but it's only part of the overall strategy for picking the right solution. What about the company that you'll be working with? Do they offer adequate support and customer service? Do they have any time zone dependencies that you need to know about? Do they take the time to get to know you and your business, or do they treat you like a statistic? In this regard, every business has different preferences. And as James Clear says in Atomic Habits, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So ensure that the systems that you put into place work for your needs. While you can retrofit a B2C platform or a direct-to-consumer platform to meet many B2B requirements, achieving a perfect fit may involve some compromises. Right? For some businesses, a dedicated B2B platform might be more efficient and a more scalable solution in the long run. However, for others, particularly those with specific needs that can be addressed through third-party plugins and customizations, it might be beneficial to retrofit a B2C platform, especially in the short term for immediate needs. Ultimately, option 1 on your screen might be less knowledgeable in B2B business, but prove to have benefits in other areas. And that's natural. It was designed for a larger, more general market. So all this to say, depending on what your established business requirements are, step 4 is where you evaluate and you select the option that works best for your organization. Now, picking an e-commerce platform that's rich in business-to-business specific features can be a huge difference maker, going back to that first point with our satisfactory rate for customers online. So I thought I'd take a minute to highlight some features here that any B2B business should look out for when trying to pick their e-commerce platform. And the first one is about customer-specific purchasing options. In B2B, we're always talking about customer-specific info because every customer might have different information that you should be sharing with them. So things like having items or products that are specific to each customer is extremely important. Same thing with pricing, having that customer-specific pricing, as well as those payment options. Great example that's often overlooked. Some customers qualify for net terms and others don't. So you should be showing them what's needed for their account on the online store so that they can pay accordingly. When it comes to efficient B2B purchasing, this is pretty straightforward to get your customers buying the products that they need, to have them find what they're looking for, whether that's through reordering off of old orders or frequently ordered products from the past, or very importantly as well, importing a spreadsheet order form that they might have generated themselves with 20, 30 line items at a time. Now, self-service is where we can greatly diminish the number of emails and phone calls that you might be getting. So constant communication that customers can access themselves at any point in time online is going to be crucial. Status updates on orders with tracking information, detailed order history and invoice history so that at any point in time they can go back and review without having to call you or a salesperson. And even the ability to export their own prices in a sort of Excel spreadsheet that they can use themselves outside. And finally, for step number 4, sales enablement. This lets this tool become something not only used by your customers, but also for your internal team. Do you have the ability to have impersonation modes where your customer service or sales team can help your customers out on the fly online? Having user security and permissions set up for different access rights and different individuals is also extremely important. And finally, we get to step number 5 here. Get started. With a clear plan and the right team in place, it's time to take the first steps. Implementing your e-commerce strategy is a journey of continuous improvement and adaptation. As you move forward, you'll inevitably get to points where you have to take a step back from time to time, but always treat that as an opportunity to learn and to refine, to evolve, and keep your vision in mind. If I've learned anything, it's that you can do all the planning in the world, but when you get into it, action will allow you to realize your goals. And often the process of doing helps you realize that there are new possibilities out there that you didn't even consider before. But most of all, and I'll pretty much end with this, remember that just like a brick and mortar location, your online store should be given attention and upkeep. The most successful organizations that we have worked with understand this and are able to maximize the benefits of their investment by understanding the potential that it can offer. So with all that said, I'm going to highlight here the slide as to what sets us apart. Basically, everything that we talked about today is where we have expertise in. Some of the challenges that we talked about here today is what we are very used to working with. So all that to say, given the time that's left, thank you all. We'll get to some questions. I believe we have a couple of minutes, if I'm not mistaken. How many Acumatica customers? So Acumatica for k-ecommerce is, k-ecommerce has been in business for 20 years. We have a number of integrations to a number of different ERPs. Acumatica was done just about a year ago, a couple of years ago now, I think. So it's the newer feature set and the most up-to-date one by far. And we have a handful of Acumatica customers, a lot in project mode going live. So it's really popular and important year for us in the Acumatica space. To give you the exact numbers, that's something, unfortunately, I don't have off the top of my head. We do have, 550 customers, so I don't know them all, unfortunately. How about a sales configurator? This benefits both the customer and the vendor. Sales configuration is a very interesting topic. Depends what we mean by sales configuration. If you'd like, we can reach out and we can talk more about, CPQ options versus other configuration methods. It really does depend on the overall meaning. I hope those were quick answers. I know that there's a limited time here. With all that said, thank you all for joining. If you'd like more information or if the answers to the questions wasn't enough, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be here as part of the sessions for sure. Thank you all and have a great rest of your day.